Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Check it out. I wanted to do a quick video right now, regarding everything that is going on right now as I'm making this video. And it's the active shooter situations that we had in Texas, and we had one in Ohio. Many people have died, many people has been injured, and it's just a horrible situation, really bad situation, and really frustrated, and a situation where we have people, just hardworking Americans, hardworking people that are going to work, whatever, working hard, and next thing you know, they try to go to the mall, they try to go to Walmart, they go to places like that to do groceries, to spend some time off, to just have a good time, and things like this happen. People that didn't deserve to die, people that weren't in a combat environment, people that didn't do anything bad to anyone, they were just simply targeted because some crazy guy decided to do that. Really decided to do that. It's starting to rain right now, but I wanted to make this video. I mean, it's just a sad situation. We got to keep their families, the victims, we got to keep them in prayer, because the good Lord is in the business of healing his children. The good Lord is in the business of restoring horrible situations such as this, and we got to keep them in prayer, because I mean, it's just a horrible situation, right? Nobody wants to be in that kind of situation. I know I don't. And as I look at the situation, I remember Saturday morning, I left my house here and I went to get some coffee. I had to do a couple things, and I had a Glock 19 on me. Not to say that I was, super prepared to face a guy with an AK-47 or something, a long gun, but at least I had a choice. At least I had a way to defend myself, and at least I had a choice. That gun gave me a choice, and gave me an opportunity to survive a situation. Without the gun, no opportunity. That's just how it goes, right? And one thing that I want to say, big shout out to all the first responders that are doing a fantastic job, that are putting their life in danger to protect the people, EMS, or hospital personnel that have done a great job to keeping people alive and providing first aid. I mean, it's great, but when we look at the police respond, even though, and this is something that I said so many times, even though they did fantastic, even though they responded so quickly, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to protect those people, people still die. People did. And the reality is that personal protection should be something that we need to take into account, because like I say, even when the cops show up in 60 seconds, 60 seconds could be the difference between you being alive and you dying ultimately. But here's the thing that I wanted to do. I want to play a couple videos right now, after I'm done talking about all these presidential candidates and what they're doing, because they are taking this horrible situation to pass their agenda, and it's just a sad situation. So I'm going to tell you something. A propaganda machine is really affected in many cases, and if we don't start educating people, if we don't start talking positive aspects of the firearm community, if we don't start taking them shooting and showing them some of the positive aspects of the community, there may be a possibility that the Second Amendment is going to go away. They will be, because they're using this situation as a propaganda. Now, some of you guys are going to say, well, I'm never going to do it. Okay, got it. You could go all day long with that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the majority of people, majority of Americans probably don't think like you. And, all it takes is for one of those politicians to get enough people to support him for them to make a difference. Kamala Harris is already saying in the first 100 days as a president, she would take executive order to ban assault, put an assault ban or something like that. You're going to see that in the video right here. So all it takes is to get the right people to support them for that to become the law, and for that to happen. If we look at some of the past, some of the laws that were in the past that you would never think that will pass right now, it's taking place right now. So trust me, people will change. If people get the right support, they could do anything. So what we need to do is what the main prepper said many years ago. I remember listening to the main prepper. If you remember him, put comments down below. I mean, what a fantastic channel. But the main prepper always said, you know what? There's a bubble of people here. There's one here and one here. The people right here support Second Amendment rights, support, the non-compromise kind of mentality. The guys right here don't. And there's a people in the middle that just don't care. What we need to do is to get those people here in the middle into our bubble and not allow them to use the propaganda and use the people's pain to collect or recruit people into their bubble. So it is important. That's why I'm talking about social media. That's why I talk about promoting the Second Amendment in the right way. Not like some of you guys out there that are constantly promoting the Second Amendment in the wrong way, by making us look bad, by committing crimes, by doing stupid things in the internet. Every single thing that you say is F this, F that, F this, F that, and I'm gonna have guns because F this. How do you think that the regular people got that message? What positive message on the Second Amendment did that person that doesn't believe in the Second Amendment took out of that? None. So we need to be a positive example to the Second Amendment so we could start recruiting people to our side, because these politicians continue to use this Americans people's pain to pass their agenda. It's sad. It's really sad, because I tell you what, guys, I mean, I feel for those families. I feel for the families that have lost their loved one right now. I wouldn't even know what to do if someone kills my kid. And that's something else that they do. They're constantly talking about, you know what? Well, kids are being terrified. Kids can go to school. Kids are doing this. And they're using the children and people's pain to pass their agenda. That's what they want to do. They are totally going forward on this. And I'm gonna put videos here from Booker, Kamala Harris, the Castro guy. I mean, a couple guys. There's just so many of them making comments that I'm not gonna put them all here in the video, but just for you guys to get an idea of their belief and what they think. It's pretty sad. But again, we gotta be promoting the Second Amendment in the right way, because we have guys out there doing horrific things. And the American people won't stand for that. The American people are going to say, you know what? No. Why is this happening? And they want results. They want a safe environment, and they will buy it. They will believe it, and they will support those people, because they don't have any other way. They don't know anything better. They don't know what an AR-15 is. They don't know what a rifle is. They don't know that you need a gun to defend yourself. They believe that they call 911 and 10 seconds later cops will be in the house. They don't know that stuff. So when we come here and we promote the safe handling of firearm, and we promote the safe use and ways to defend your family, they will be willing to come into our bubble, just like the main preppers say. If not, it's just gonna be a bad thing, and nobody wants that. So again, I want to keep the families of the victims in prayer. It's a horrific event what they went through. It's a horrific event that is going to continue. This is going to be a situation that is just going to be hard to recover from. We really need the good Lord, and we really need to ask Him to help us during this, just horrible situation. So again, keep the family in prayer, keep the victims in prayer. Praying for healing of the victims. Pray for healing of the towns, Ohio, Texas, the state. Pray for our country. And this thing where it says, people say prayers don't work. Prayers do work. Prayers are an amazing tool that we have at our disposal, and we need to use it. So I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, God is in control.
And I turn my attention to the person who is leading this country, who is, in my opinion, in this moral moment, who is failing. And I think that at the end of the day, especially because this was a white supremacist manifesto, that I want to say with more moral clarity that Donald Trump is responsible for this. He's responsible because he is stoking fears and hatred and bigotry. He is responsible because he's failing to condemn white supremacy and see it as it is, which is responsible for such a significant amount of the terrorist attacks. He's responsible because he is president of the United States and has failed to do anything significant to stop the mass availability of weapons to people who intend to do harm. And lastly, he's responsible because leaders take responsibility. We are responsible for each other in this culture, in this society, and our president in the highest moral position in the land should be taking responsibility in this painful, difficult moment and coming forward and telling us what he will do to address hate, to address white supremacy, to address the availability of guns, to address this mass violence. His talking about the cowardice of others is more of a reflection of his failure to take responsibility and cowardice in a time that we need courageous leadership.
Well, what do we need to do to change as a country? What can be done to, if not stop this, at least curtail it?
We need to do a whole slew of things, from ensuring that we have universal background checks, to limiting the capacity of magazines, to ensuring that we have red flag laws out there that are able to catch individuals who may represent a danger to themselves or to other people. We also need a renewed assault weapons ban so that these semi-automatic weapons, these weapons of war, are not out there on the streets. And most Americans, I believe, support these kinds of measures, but because of the inaction of Congress, of politicians who listen to special interests instead of listening to the American people, we haven't made the progress that we should.
And Jake, I've got to tell you, in addition to universal background checks, in addition to ending the sales of weapons of war into our communities, in addition to red flag laws, we've got to acknowledge the hatred, the open racism that we're seeing. There's an environment of it in the United States. We see it on Fox News, we see it on the internet, but we also see it from our commander-in-chief. And he is encouraging this. He doesn't just tolerate it, he encourages it. Calling Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, warning of an invasion at our border, seeking to ban all people of one religion. Folks are responding to this. It doesn't just offend us, it encourages the kind of violence that we're seeing, including in my hometown of El Paso yesterday.
You've laid out a number of executive orders and executive actions that you would take as president.
Yes, I have.
And what are they?
Well, but let me tell you why. Because we don't lack for good ideas. There are all kinds of good ideas. I've had plenty of my friends and colleagues who are running for president have some great ideas. I'm supporting them. We don't lack for good ideas. We lack for action. So yes, when elected, I am prepared to take executive action if Congress doesn't pull its act together. I will give, after being elected, the United States Congress 100 days to pull it together, put a bill on my desk for signature, and if they do not, I will take executive action and do 3 things in particular. I'll put in place a comprehensive background check. Why? Because it's just logical that you might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You might just want to know before somebody can buy a gun if they have been found by a court to be guilty of committing a violent crime. So, background checks. I'm going to require that we put resources into ATF so they can take the licenses of gun dealers who break the law. Do you know that up to 90% of the guns associated with crime are sold by just 5% of the gun dealers? We need to take their licenses. And then the third piece is by executive action, I'll put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country, because we got to get this under control. And again, it's within our ability to act.